On this week's travel show, we're in a surfing community trying to hold back the tide of development on the Chilean coast. Also coming up,
we go looking for lost ships beneath the Canadian waves. We discover a novel way to make a cake in rural France. And our global guru Simon Calder tackles the biggest question in travel.
Where next?
Let's start this week's programme on the stunning Pacific coastline of central Chile. Punta de Lobos is best known for its dramatic high cliffs, with views over black sandy beaches and rocky outcrops where sea lions gather. And it's also become famous as one of the best places to surf in South America.
Wow.
With a consistent swell and regular runs of huge waves, Punta de Lobos is considered one of the best breaks in South America. And it's become a paradise for big wave surfers. I've arrived in Punta de Lobos at a particularly good time, because word has gone around that this morning's swell will be unusually strong, with waves of up to 30 feet.
These huge waves have been tracked all the way from Antarctica and have drawn out locals and people from across the world to watch them come in and crash against these rocks. If you look really carefully, out there, what looks like little birds bobbing on the surface of the water are surfers taking on these gargantuan waves at the risk of their lives. It's pretty incredible.
One of the surfers out there is Cole Christensen, who flew here yesterday from Hawaii just to catch these waves.
The forecasting these days are so good that we can actually see these big storms forming, and it gives us enough time to jump on a plane and come down here. Punta de Lobos for me is, it's a pretty magical place. It has a kind of a special place in my heart. The point itself is one of the more beautiful places I've ever been, and people travel from all over the world to come here for a good reason, because the waves are so good.
And it turns out the surfing bug is contagious.
Everyone keeps talking about how amazing these waves are, so got on my wetsuit, about to jump on the surfboard and try it out for myself.
My teacher is Chacha, a local who introduces novices to the art of surfing every day. I suspect, however, that he's used to rather more coordinated students.
Looking.
It turns out surfing is definitely not as easy as it looks.
I got whacked in the face with about 10 waves in a row, so I've swallowed most of that water, I think. It was super fun. Thank you.
Okay,
Luckily, Punta de Lobos has plenty of beautiful views to enjoy for those who aren't the most gifted of surfers.
But despite its idyllic appearance, this place is not all paradise. In fact, it's been the site of a battle between local private interests and conservationists.
Until recently, Punta de Lobos was relatively unknown. But over the past couple of decades, its popularity has soared as a surfing and a tourist destination. These days, 5,000 visitors arrive to the point daily during summertime. Perhaps not surprisingly, This has attracted developers keen to capitalise on the area's newfound popularity. Much of the coast is in the hands of private owners, and plans were made for extensive building along the cliffs.
A lot of private projects, real estate projects, big ones, were wanting to be developed here. Like where we're standing here, there would be houses hanging on the cliffs, 4 buildings, 7-story high, like a surf resort, or not even a surf resort, but huge density of construction and people coming in here. We have a real threatening situation for such a special place like this one.
Matthias is the director of the Punta de Lobos Foundation, a non-profit organisation created among locals to fight the development plans. Along with other conservation bodies such as Save the Waves, they've worked to halt shoreside construction and to keep the cliffs open to the public. But that was only their first challenge.
It was a mess here. If you put 1,000 or 1,500 cars here, you can take an hour and a half to just go a mile out back to the highway. And the second thing is that there were no bathrooms here. So people would do their needs in the cliffs, in wherever, and it would be very dirty.
The foundation responded by regulating the traffic with a roundabout and installing eco-bathroom facilities, along with a recycled fence along the cliff line to protect it from the erosion of visitors' feet. Community involvement has been a vital ingredient in the success of the conservation project, and some local businesses are adopting a low-impact philosophy. This hotel overlooks the Punta de Lobos beach and was built with the aim of causing as little impact as possible on the surrounding area. Unlike earlier hotel plans, it's designed to be camouflaged into the hillside, and it's built with local and recycled materials.
It's all in the architecture. We don't want it to be like a big hotel, 5-star resort. We have 12 rooms, we could have like 40, 50, but we wanted to offer something different, something special. This is a very sensitive and special place and spot for us, so we wanted to protect it.
Many involved in the efforts here see Punta de Lobos as a landmark conservation case for Chile, one that could have a much broader impact than just protecting one favoured surfing spot.
We're very eager that Punta Lobos is successful because it's the example in order to scale this project throughout Chile. There's a need on conservation in Chile. We are a developing country, we're just getting started, and we can learn from so many mistakes that through Punta de Lobos we could set the example for future developments along the coast.
From South America to Europe next, and the village of Arreau. Set high in the French Pyrenees, they're big on tradition when it comes to cooking here, and they've got a novel approach to making cakes that dates back over 200 years.
Pour le gâteau à la broche, les gens se transmettaient ça de bouche à oreille. D'après la légende et le peu d'histoire que nous avons, parce qu'il n'y a pas vraiment de livres ni d'ouvrages sur le gâteau à la broche, on n'a que quelques recettes récentes. Et bon, ce seraient les soldats de Napoléon qui auraient ramené ça avec leur retraite de Russie. Les meilleurs souvenirs d'enfance que j'ai, à part là, la pêche dans ce fameux torrent l'Est du Louron, c'est bien sûr le gâteau à la broche, Le gâteau à la broche qui était le gâteau traditionnel des grandes cérémonies familiales.
Moi, j'ai appris à faire le gâteau à la broche avec ma maman. On le faisait la tradition, vraiment tout à la main. J'avais 5-6 ans. Vous avez remarqué que le rhum, on ne le boit pas, on le met dans la pâte. Alors on fait doucement parce que le beurre, ça part vite quoi. Moi je suis arrivée par an à faire entre 100 gâteaux comme ça, 100 ou 150 gâteaux. Maintenant j'en fais moins, je vieillis. Officiellement terminé là. Vous voulez goûter ?
Et puis à l'âge des cheveux blancs, on revient vers la tradition. C'est un petit moment émotionnel parce qu'on retrouve des souvenirs, des odeurs, des coups de chaud sur les bras, sur le front, qu'on en avait quand on était enfant.
Nous sommes respectueux de ce que nous ont transmis tous nos anciens, c'est-à-dire toutes ces bonnes recettes, et nous essayons de les garder, de les mettre en pratique et également de les transmettre.
La parabole.
Still to come on this week's travel show.
Looking for a long haul in October? Our global guru Simon Calder has some seasonal suggestions. And we go to the Canadian islands, where the sea can bite.
The Travel Show, your essential guide wherever you're heading.
Welcome to the slice of the show that tackles your questions about getting the best out of travel. Coming up shortly, ideas for a great October escape and managing money for Mexico. But first, peak tourist season in Europe is underway, and so I've asked Britain's biggest airports for the days this summer when they expect to be busiest. Here at Gatwick, it's Sunday the 13th of August, with travellers passing through at a rate of 2 per second. At Manchester, Friday the 18th of August is the key day, and at Heathrow Airport, the busiest in Europe, the peak will be on Sunday the 6th of August, with over 250,000 passengers arriving and departing. Jane wants to know,
what's your top long-haul recommendation in October?
at that time of year, it's hard to go wrong with a trip along either the east or the west coast of the USA, from Washington DC south to Florida, or down the Californian coast from San Francisco to the Mexican border. The climate is benign, apart from the odd storm on the east coast, and if you like to swim in the ocean, it's about as warm as it gets. On the east coast, spend a few days in the US capital, then fly to Florida, pick up a rental car and call in at Cape Canaveral for the Space Coast and Miami Beach. Or on the west coast, explore San Francisco, then hire a car for the trip south along California State Route 1 with some of the best coastal scenery in the world, spectacular cliffs and marine life which may include sea lions. Highlights include Hearst Castle, the hilltop mansion of a newspaper magnate, the Hollywood Hills offering genuine urban wilderness, and at the deep south of California, San Diego, the ideal city in which to end an adventure. Next, Pauline and Rob Stannard followed my advice to visit Nicaragua and simply want to know where next. Well, if you enjoyed the landscapes and elements of hardcore travel in Central America's largest country, let me recommend a couple of other alluring Latin American destinations, Cuba and Ecuador. Both of them are a little frayed around the edges with unpredictable but entertaining transport and have plenty of beautiful towns. In the capitals, Havana and Quito, you'll find echoes of the colonial atmosphere you appreciated in Granada and León in Nicaragua. Finally, Fran wants to know,
is it best to take US dollars or pesos to Mexico?
Take dollars. In my experience, the very best rates for Mexican pesos are to be found inside the country. So take in cash and change it at one of the many casas de cambio. If you're heading for Cancun and the Riviera Maya area, then euros or pound sterling are recognised and accepted at all the resorts. For the rest of Mexico though, US dollars are the only universally recognised currency. Other foreign funds may be regarded with suspicion. Whether you're travelling on a shoestring or a gold-plated credit card, I'm here to help. So email your question to thetravelshow@bbc.co.uk and I'll do my very best to find you an answer. From me, Simon Calder, the Global Guru, bye for now and see you next time.
And to finish this week's programme, we're off to Canada and the Magdalen Islands in the Gulf of St Lawrence. The waters can be treacherous, and many ships have run aground on the rocks here, meaning that lots of people who live in the area now are descendants of shipwrecked sailors who were washed ashore when their ships went down, giving them a unique respect for the sea.
My name's Nancy Clark. I was born and raised on this island. As an islander, when we say home, it's something very strong and something very rooted, because our ancestry is like all in one island, so our sense of belonging and is very strong.
Most island families it affects them in some way or another. My uncle, her brother drowned, and my father's brother also drowned, so I have two uncles that have drowned. My father's brother actually drowned just over there, right across the road.
This is Robert Best. He would be my grandmother's grandfather, and he shipwrecked from the Channel Islands on a ship called the Perry around 1875, and he married a local woman, Bithynia Rankin.
Quand tu plonges sur une épave, puis tu essaies de te mettre dans les gens qui étaient à bord, comment ça s'est passé? Comment ils se sentaient? Tu essaies de t'imprégner du temps. C'est comme si tu t'embarquais dans un autre monde, finalement. Ça, c'est des choses que j'ai trouvées dans des épaves, justement. Ça, c'était le sifflet à vapeur de navire aussi qui a coulé à côté du rocher aux oiseaux. C'est gros, là. Ça, le bateau qui avait ça devait avoir dans 175-200 pieds de long. Le bateau qui avait cet angle est encore là, mais sous le sable. On voit rien du tout. Ça, c'est le bateau que je cherche. Le Cinco. Ça, c'est le message qui est envoyé par le bateau la journée où il a coulé. Il est à 11h p.m. SOS Sinking Position Southwest Magdalen Island. Ça, c'est ce qu'il dit. Cette année, le 7 décembre 2017, ça va faire 100 ans que le bateau a coulé. Pour moi, là, si je trouve le Cinco, là, je peux mourir.
We're very strong ties to the sea because it's generational. So my family, it's like 6 generations of fishermen, and also my brother's 5th generation boat builder. So these things are handed down through the families. I feel so comfortable here, and I've never felt that feeling anywhere else. Like knowing every little nook and cranny and the beach and the cape, and like just feeling completely at ease.
Well, unfortunately, that's all we've got time for on this week's travel show. Coming up next week...
Continuing the shipwreck theme, Addy's in Bermuda, where he'll be meeting the team who are digitally mapping the hundreds of underwater lost ships there for everyone to be able to see online around the world.
That was quite literally breathtaking.
So do join us then if you can. And in the meantime, don't forget you can keep up with us while we're out on the road in real time by signing up to our social media feeds. Details are on the screen now. But for now, from me, Crystal Larwood, and the rest of the Travel Show team here in Chile, it's goodbye.